general HR policy strategy and not direct impact on the wage bill. What I wanted to hear from the officer through the governor is, Chair, you are aware that the OAG conducted payroll audits. I think he did for Vihiga as well, for 2023, 2024. And there were a raft of recommendations that OAG recommended. So I expected the officer to dwell more on the status of implementation of those recommendations, because we had issues like payroll irregularities, where money was paid to staff in excess of what they are supposed to be getting. So, you know, that fundamentally affects the wage bill level. So those are the specifics I expected him to tell this committee, that yes, we had a payroll audit for 2023, 2024. These were the recommendations, and this is what we are doing in terms of implementing the recommendation of OAG. He was silent on that, and I think that will fundamentally help in reducing the wage bill rates as it is now.
Yeah, in the last session, we had planned to invite several governors whose wage bill were above 50% to respond to that report by the OAG. Time ran out, but we must cause just a special meeting on that, because if 50% of your revenue is going to salaries, then you are as good as insolvent. The Parliamentary Budget Office has done some analysis.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, what the audit has done was just to pick the revenue they reported in the financial performance and divide the total employees cost. So that's the revenue they have reported. The 5.2 billion is just a national transfer. So they have not reported in that revenue performance the OSR. So if you factor in that 5.2 billion to the OSR, which they have reported 398 million, then the wage bill becomes 49% from 52 to 49. So that the revenue they have reported there is just national transfers, exclusive of the OSR. So now what the audit has reported is 52%, but if you factor that component of OSR, then the wage bill percentage drops to 49%. Thank you. Still
far above 35%. It does not solve the problem. So this matter, because time will not allow us to deal with it, we are going to schedule a meeting where we are going to look at the report of the Auditor General and the payroll audit that they did in the other financial year. So we keep this in view, but we must also agree on the standards, because PBO is now bringing another angle that on-source revenue should be brought in. You are arguing that prior year balances should have been brought in, and OAG is saying that only the effort of the year should be considered. I believe we need to have one basis for computation of this amount. And I think the next time also, Governor, when you come and do this long presentation, also give us an impact analysis. That once we do all these things, we expect that our wage bill will have reduced by 5–10%. Otherwise, it just and for you to move from 50 to 35%, then you must be at around 1.8 billion, not 2.7 billion. So it's not a 17% drop, it's a 33% drop. You must reduce your expenditure by 33% on employees. Or increase the revenue by almost a similar margin. Please don't keep that problem so that it can be inherited by the next governor. Fix it. Because I can see you are looking at your senator like he will fix it.
But also, Chair, this issue of this percentage, fiscal responsibility cannot be addressed fully without dealing with the denominator. And you can deal with the denominator and increase it by increasing the on-source revenue. In fact, what should have been included in this long narrative are ways in which you can increase our on-source revenue, including, but not limited to, updating of the valuation roll. the valuation rule that we're using now as Vihiga, when was it last updated? If we update it, how much are you expecting to collect? What about automation of revenue collection? How much are you collecting, and how much are you maybe expecting to collect after full automation? These are the things I thought I would see from here. And also, if you had inherited staff from the former local authorities and they are retiring, you can say we are electing not to replace them, because then they are supposed to be rendered redundant and so on, Chair.
Thank you. So I think those are just suggestions that can help enrich your response, but we'll have that meeting just on HR, because where you are, it does not look good. I want us to try and finish the other HR issues: staff ethnic diversity, recruitment plan, 1/3 basic salary rule. We will take your responses in writing and make our recommendations on the basis of your written responses. Non-adherence to climate change and financing requirements. Chair CPIC, I believe the climate change fund reports come to your committee.
Yes, Chair.
So I believe some of these issues would be best addressed at that level.
Climate change and hospitals.
And hospitals.
Yeah.
So, Auditor General, do you think this will form part of your report on the Vihiga Climate Change Fund? These issues you have raised here on climate change and financing requirements?
Yes. Yes, but since the issue is more of in the county executive, although the fund is also under the county executive, I think the CPEC can handle it.
Because if this is expenditure from the fund, then it would be neater for Senator Ososi to deal with it at that level. If it's a line budget item, then we can deal with it.
Okay.
So advise us, is it a line budget item, or these are drawings from the climate change fund?
It was not more of the projects that were handled under the climate change. That 253 million is the one that brought up all these compliance issues that have been raised in Lawman number 1 to Lawman number 8.
Governor, this 253 million, is it your transfer to the fund, or this is another budget that is outside your county climate change fund?
The climate change, we have a climate change flock-up funding, which is separate from our normal regular budget.
So the question I'm asking is whether these eight issues raised by the Auditor General, they relate to FLOCA and the other activities that draw from the climate change fund.
Yes.
If Auditor General, you confirm that? Because if that is the assurance, then we can let the Public Investments Committee deal with this.
Yes, confirm.
Okay, fine. So this one, clerks, this one will be dealt with substantively by PIC. Hospital Plaza, Governor, is this the one we've been discussing over the years?
Yes.
It is incomplete despite 223 million already spent on the project. The finding there is fairly long, and I can see your response is also very detailed. You have a very, very detailed response there with 5 appendices. So let's start from the global. For 223 million, do you have a hospital plaza?
Yes, we do have, but it's not now operationalized. And allow me to ask the Chief Officer in charge of health to give you a general overview of where we are as of now.
Okay. And explain why it was not complete within a period of 3 years, considering that you started in 2021, it should have been completed by 2024. 223 million has been spent so far out of a total contract sum of 395 million. What is the problem? Or it is not a priority project?
Thank you, Chair. This is a priority to the county, and I want to confirm that the works are ongoing and they will be completed by May this year. The contractor applied for extension period, and he gave several reasons why he needed the time extended. And the team sat and approved, and we can confirm that great progress has been done so far. If you look at the photos, we are almost done. Thank you.
Photos are never a reliable method of measuring progress. I think there's usually a much more technical document beside photos. Is it certificate of works? Auditor General, when you're auditing, do you just look at photos and say that, this is good?
No, we check the certificate issued by the Public Works, certified certificate that have shown the percentages of the work done, what paid and what has not been paid.
So did you have a look at the Appendix 11A, application for extension by the contractor? Was that presented to you at the time of audit?
No.
It wasn't?
But subsequently it was provided, it was sent yesterday.
It was sent yesterday?
Yes.
That's new evidence, Governor. You cannot send something yesterday and come to convince us today about it. Why, if this thing was signed a long time ago, why wasn't it presented to the auditor? Or your guys were tidying up some loose ends?
I think I would like to have the chief officer to say, to react to that, because it should have been provided.
Yeah, why is this extension coming last night? It is dated 24th of February 2025. When was that? There is a Monday. And it is 26th. A contract was done on Saturday. Is it Monday today? Oh, that was 2025. 2025. We are in 2026. Fine. So if this was executed on 24th of February 2025, why did the auditor get it only last night? Let's start from there.
Chair, the file for the plaza is very huge, and the document was in the file, only that just an error of not locating it quickly.
In such a situation, wouldn't this be one of the most important documents, because it forms the basis for continued engagement with the contractor? Why would it be the last thing to find? That is not, with a lot of respect, officer. Please give us a better explanation. We are waiting.
Chair, we have that document in the file, but the file is very huge. And we kept perusing through the document, I think just not locating it in good time. And that's why we had to redo this one.
Who is a custodian of contracts in the county? Or maybe, let's see, who are the signatories here? Or maybe just take us through it so that we know that we know what we are dealing with. Application for extension of time, proposed construction of Vihiga Referral Hospital. Marks Investment Limited, blah, blah, blah. Who's Catherine Nyachama?
Chair, Catherine Nyachamwe is the director for Catmax Construction Limited, who is doing the plaza.
Who's Wesley Asubwa?
Chair, Wesley Asubwa is the chairman for the contract implementation team. He's the architecture.
Is he an employee of the county?
Yes, he is, Chair.
And so he could not remember where the documents he signed are. What is the problem with this contract that it could not be given to the auditor? Not even 7 days in advance. Last night. And you see, that's why we are flying blind, because the auditor has not perhaps looked at it sufficiently, because you thought you'd come and convince us with photos. So, Governor, why can you? I don't know whether you asked your officers this question, but could you offer us an explanation why this contract had to come last night, and yet this audit query required it?
I believed that the document was there. So,
No, but does she confirm that it was sent last night? Do you confirm it was sent last night?
Yes, I confirm.
So, you see, this is what you call a smoking gun. A contract that is withheld during audit, it is not provided. During follow-up, it is not provided. It is brought one day to a meeting. First of all, it is inadmissible because our timelines were very clear, 7 days to a meeting. Now, I don't know what you guys make of it, but when I come across such scenarios, I get convinced that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Question?
Yeah, maybe just ask the governor who caused the delay between the county government and the contractor. And we want also to be sure, because the query is indicating that there is a risk of cost escalation. We want to be sure if there is no variation of the contract due to loss of time. Please indicate to us if there is any variation that has been requested and who caused the delay.
Yes?
one of the challenges we have faced on this hospital plaza is being able to get money to pay, to fund it, because it's internally funded through our exchequer. And so that's where we have had a lot of problems. And when we have not paid certificates to the contractor always stopped working until he's paid. And because of the sometimes delays in exchequer disbursements, this has been the problem. But the biggest problem we have had is the budgeting, because we have had to get it from our budget, which has been a big challenge.
Governor, who's Dr. Mary Susan Anyenda?
She's the one.
Doctor, you're the one. You're the one who signed this letter of 16th of May 2024.
Yes, Chair.
Granting, having reviewed the reasons, you are hereby granted the 12-month extension as requested under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. And you signed this letter on 16th of May 2024. And on the same limb, you are telling us that the files were so bulky you couldn't remember where the contract was filed. Are we being honest? Are we being honest? What is the problem with this contract that we should be treated to this, Governor? Or should we come fishing for the problem? Because there must be a problem. Dr. How do you explain that it is your signature here? You are the accounting officer. You are the one who was required to respond to this, and yet you chose to produce this last night.
Chair, as I had said earlier, I wasn't able to locate the letter from the big file.
So this one you signed, you didn't even have a copy somewhere. This one that is signed in blue biro by you. Even this one you signed and then it got lost.
Allow me to request the...
Dr. This is your signature. I think let's first deal with this because it's, and you're a doctor, medical doctor?
No.
PhD?
Yes.
Are you a member of any professional body?
Yes.
Which one?
Australia.
Which means?
It's a research institute.
Okay, but not the ISPAC, not a statutory
No.
body, not ISPAC, not LSK, not supply chain.
No.
Yeah, so how can you have signed a letter giving the green light for contract extension, which there is nothing wrong with it? There's really nothing wrong because you have cited the relevant sections of the law. And then you hide this thing until the day before a meeting with the Senate. If there was nothing funny or shady you were doing, why keep it until the day to a meeting? I am sorry, we are generally cynical because you have seen a lot of bad things in the county. You need to convince us why the auditor was there from October, November, December, including parts of January, that it is only last night that you found this contract. Gentlemen, is it that my sugar levels are low? Or
What is the law on safekeeping of documents? What does the law requires of you in terms of keeping and availing documents to auditors? Do you have a legal obligation? Huh?
Yes.
Do you know it's an offense?
Yes.
If you decline to give documents to auditors?
Yes.
You know it's an offense.
Yes.
So in this case, didn't you commit an offense? We begin from there. Because as lawmakers, we want to ensure that the law is being followed to the letter. Didn't you break the law in this instance?
Yes.
So, Chair, at least the beauty is that we are both on the same page, that the law was not complied with in this instance. Because there was a deliberate act of refusing to give documents to the auditors.
I was a bit hesitant to to squeeze Dr. into a corner so that she does not think that this is personal. That's why I keep asking, is there an institutional problem that caused you not to provide this earlier and just, last night? Earlier on, Senator Sotsi was praising the software solutions in Vihiga County. But with all those advancements, an important contract like this cannot be found until the date for meeting. So yeah, we might hold Dr. personally liable, but there seems to be a bigger institutional problem. Governor, have you asked yourself that question, or are you part of that problem?
I would say that I'm not part of that problem, but because I am the governor, I'm the one responsible in the final end. So whatever mistake or whatever oversight or whatever may have happened, eventually squarely comes to me. And it's something that I have to deal with.
Okay, Senator Maruma. And I think clerks, sergeant at arms, if my sugar levels are this low, make sure the governor also has some tea and some refreshment that can push us up to 5.
Yeah, Chair, I don't know, but I know this project was conceived when you were in office, because this is May 2021. And I think the people of Vihiga needed this hospital plaza. And they want to start using this hospital plaza. Now you are saying that it is not complete, it is delayed ostensibly because of late exchequer releases. But if you are to have a rolling budget of 395 million, you must have had those projections that would begin financing it from this financial year, this is the budget, and in subsequent years, you also budget for it. So what has intervened so much so that you're not able to provide budgets in good time? Because if there's a late exchequer release, then when the year ends, you're supposed to do a supplementary budget and you budget for it and pay. When you start a project in 2021 and in 2026, the residents of Vihiga are not using that project, then there's the value for money issue. What is the explanation that you're giving? And Chair, the other question was not answered adequately. Is there a variation of this project as alluded to by the auditor, that there could be an escalation of costs owing to loss of time?
Okay. Governor or your officers?
I will react to one, and then the other I will ask the officer in charge. The challenge we have had on budgeting, what we have said is true. We had worked out a way that from our budget, we'd budget within 3 years would have finished. But the challenge we have had is that every time we make the budget and we take it to the assembly, they always vary, particularly when it comes to heavy expenditure on one project. And therefore that's where we have had. So they have always kept on, we put the right amount, but they insist that we reduce it so that they can cover other projects, because they also reason that they must have also projects implemented in their wards so that they can also be seen that they are performing. So that's where we have had the issue. As regards variations, I think I have the engineer here in charge of infrastructure, Tunya, who is on the committee that deals with this matter, the technical committee. He can be able probably to react to what we have asked.
Thank you, Chair. This project initially was started in 2016. And then when we re-advertised it in 2020...
This is a thing that's been on the audit reports for the longest time.
Correct, Chair.
It was initially called Doctors Plaza, or it was just Hospital Plaza, because I've seen it all the years.
It's a one, Chair.
It's a one?
Yes.
Okay.
So when we re-advertised, and then NCA came and recommended for retrofitting. Now, we had given it initially 3 years to be complete, but because of that retrofitting, because we had to retrofit all the columns and all the beams, because the initial contractor had done smaller columns and smaller beams. So there was a risk that if we continue the way it was, it could have collapsed. So that retrofitting took a long time to do. Now, and that's why we've had extensions of 12 months and another 12 months. Now, about the pricing, the extensions that the chief officer has given have no budget implication, which means the contractor has accepted to take the extension without any budgetary implication. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Osotsi, any comment on this before we give the way forward?
Chair, this is one of the projects that we discussed during revenue sharing debate, and we said that it is one of the projects that we would want to see completed. My concern is still on the contract, Chair, as you had put it. If we had the contract, then we will be able to get sufficient information about what is happening. Because this project, as the engineer said, at one point it was reported that it could collapse. And then they came in to reinforce and all those things. And then several extension of time including the latest one, which was done in May last year. So all those are issues that the contract would address. When did the extension take? Was there any implication on interest? So all those details, I would propose that even though the file was very heavy to be carried, we could still get the file from the county so that we can verify some of the issues that we are raising here.
Chair, I think Senator Otsotsi is familiar with ICT. He should encourage his county to have brought even in soft copy. Number two, Chair, listening to the story of this, because I've been with you for some time, and I think Maruma in this committee, this has reappeared severally on audit queries. Is it possible, and I'm worried if he's saying they have been reinforced at some substructure at some point, is it in order when we are doing the North Rift Western to visit this project so that we will make it cheaper for the county? They bring that big file and we are in the hospital, we look at the file as we look at the structure. We look at the file as we look at the structure so that we understand. And Governor, the fact that we gave additional 400 above what the shareable revenue we give you in this fourth basis, you should at least give us a comfort of ring fencing that amount to complete. And I thought, Governor, by now you should be working on your legacy projects because you are now 1 year plus before the next general election. So could it be we visit and the lady would bring us that heavy file? I don't know. But the people from Rwanda area, it's something that can make them easily carry that document, even if it is heavy.
I think you must leave Musala out of this conversation.
And I think, Chair, you know, a doctor's plus is a good project. The person who conceived it, it's a very, very good project. So that you have all the doctors coming, you know, all under one roof. And instead of people of Vihiga going to maybe Kisumu and so on, they would be coming to Vihiga. It would even enhance medical tourism because then you have an influx of people coming for treatment. So it is something that you can give a priority with the money that we appropriated, the affirmative action money. So that is complete, and that would be one of your legacy projects.
Fine. So for us to progress,
off the cuff.
Yes, Senator.
By the way, now that my good friend Maruma has mentioned the affirmative additional allocation, how did you utilize yours? Because instead of having a tussle with your MCAs, you should have appropriated that money to complete such a project. That way, you empower your senator. Next time is pushing for further affirmative allocation. He has a good case before the Senate. How did you appropriate?
Actually, Senator Otsotsi had made that point earlier.
Oh.
He had asked for it, but there seemed to be no clarity. But maybe for the benefit of the senior council.
I hope he didn't go to serve tea and extend part of it to buy bulls for the housewarming of the speaker.
It is part of the 5 million.
Because the intention was, I moved the motion myself. The intention was very noble.
Yes.
So can hear from
yes,
you.
it is true that quite a lump sum amount we have allocated, the money that we received as extra, we have allocated to complete this hospital. And so that's why we have put an estimate by May it should complete. And as of now, they're just doing small fittings, even lifts. They have already fitted lifts. So it's just final finishing. And we hope by latest May we should have.
The affirmative development money was used purely for development purposes.
Not some was used for pending bills, which pay the facilities that were built, like dispensaries, ECD classrooms that were built, had been built, but they had not been paid for.
Okay. So, Chair, maybe can I get clarity? So the completion date of this project is in May.
Yes, that's when we.
So when are you inviting us when you are commissioning? This one we can come, like for the housewarming, we can come. For the plus I can come.
Are you expecting a similar expenditure?
Yes, I'm worried, and I hope there will be no food to be served just to commission. Can you confirm to us that by 30th May, the hospital should be up and running? You know, the reason I'm saying this, Chair, is I'm a neighbor, and I know if they open with the poor medical services in Nandi, courtesy of his counterpart, the people of Kabwa and Ward will be able to be beneficiary, and we will not come for free. We'll come and pay. So by 30th May, are you confirming before this committee that we come after 30th, we'll get the facility up and running?
I won't be able to confirm because I'm not the contractor, but that's what we have agreed with the contractor that.
Remember, Senator Cherake, this is a project that started in 2016, as stated by the officer. And so I wanted to maybe Senator Osotsi, so that we give the way forward. And
I think the county executive, led by the governor, really should try their level best to ensure this project is completed. Because this project, though the query indicates that it was started in May 2021, this project was conceptualized much earlier than that. And there has been this back and forth. So this will be a very good legacy project for governor if it is completed. My only concern is that, there is no clarity because they are saying that they need a further 75 million to complete fully. But what about the equipping this hospital? Because you can complete and equipping it becomes another challenge. So maybe they could say something about what is the plan on equipping this hospital. Constructing is one thing, but equipping is another thing altogether.
now, can I then, in terms of giving directions, because we don't want to just get political promises here. We want everything that goes on record to be factual. And we have been handicapped because the Auditor General received documents last night. I would have put this question to them. We have also lost visibility of between 2016 and 2021 because you're citing a contract of 2021. It would also be important for us to reflect back and find out how much has this cost right from inception. And the best person to do that is the Office of the Auditor General. I wanted to recommend, number one, the governor must take administrative action on his officers who did not comply with the requirements of the Office of the Auditor General in terms of provision of documents. And when you're coming for our implementation meeting, you must demonstrate what measures you have taken in terms of reorganizing your entity so that we don't get excuses that a file was too big for a two-page document to be extracted. If you're investing in technology, if you're investing in training, if you're investing in people, go back, crack the whip, so that those kind of excuses don't find their way to the national parliament. Number two, the OAG, to carry out a review of this particular project with a view to ensuring lawfulness and prudence. And that review should not be restricted to the current contract. It should start from 2016. At our next meeting on implementation review, we need to understand how much this project has cost from inception to date and the expectation for fitting. What Senator Osotsi is asking for equipping it. Is it going to cost $1 billion, $2 billion by the time it is done? If the Auditor General flags anything that he feels is unlawful or is imprudent in this, then we shall involve the EACC to follow up. So for now, the OAG, please, within those 60 days of implementation, review these documents that came last night and give us an assurance that everything here is lawful and everything here is prudent, failure to which we'll ask the EACC to take up the matter. But I think there are some years back when we had asked the EACC to look into this. Is it a matter under active investigation? The hospital plaza? Has the EACC come to follow this matter up? Because it's been on for the longest, from 2016.
Yeah, EACC came over But then after that, they never came back to with any report or anything up to date.
Right. So let's ask the Auditor General to do their proper audit and inform us. On that basis, we shall give directions on what we think should be the next course of action.
And Chair, before you just maybe conclude your direction, you know your numbers are not tying up. If you look at the contract sum, which is 395 million, but what has been spent is 223 million. Then the last statement on page 20, you're saying the department has allocated 75 million for completion of the plaza in this financial year. 75 million cannot complete that plaza. Because if you have spent 223 million and the project sum is 395 million, it simply means that 75 million cannot complete that plaza unless my mathematics is not mathing well.
Okay, I want us to manage time, and please take note of the comment by Senator Mwaruma. OAG, you must also look at the numbers and confirm that they are tying up. There is an issue of county aggregation and industrial park, which seems to be a global problem across the 47 counties. I want us to consider the written responses, and we'll make our recommendations on that. Same for Bumira ECD. Now, inconsistency of carriageway on opening and maintenance of roads. In the morning when we...
Maybe before you leave KIPES.
Yes.
I think it's important for this committee to appreciate the fact that this KIPES thing, what is the level of involvement of counties and the national government? Because it looks like many of the project functions are being done by the national government. Would that be a very serious omission? Because we appropriated the money as the Senate, but you see a lot of things in this project are undertaken by the national government. So is this query also coming up in the national government reports?
Okay, so I kind of glossed over it because on the specific audit issues, we can deal with the responses. But I think every governor who has sat there, we have asked them, do you need these KIPES? Let's start from there. Do you need this project as Vihiga? 496 million. You are struggling with your hospital plaza, struggling with wage bill. Is this your priority?
Chair, maybe allow me to write on your question so that the matter of Senator Otsotsi is handled. Was there a consultation between the national government and Vihiga, and did you participate in the agreement so that the issue of national government doing functions of county can be put to matter? And then the third is whether there is value for money. Because, Chair, you remember this issue of KIPES appears in all counties. In all counties. And you remember the governor of Siaya said, he said they were never consulted. So can you put to rest so that the issue raised by your senator can be put to rest? Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
The project was formulated at the national level by the national government. So it was initially initiated by the national government through Ministry of Trade and Investment. And the counties, they selected the initial 9 counties that were to start. But later on, the government requested those counties that were keen to participate in the program to indicate their interest. And we did, as Vihiga, indicate that we were keen to have this aggregation and industrial park. For one reason, Vihiga doesn't have any industries apart from the tea factory. It's the only factory we have. And we have a lot of agricultural activities, particularly when it comes to vegetables, it comes to livestock, dairy farming, and poultry. And therefore, we felt that such an industry would be very important to us in terms of processing, doing value addition to some of the agricultural produce we produce in Vihiga, which most cases we never do any value addition. So yes, as a government, we expressed our interest, and then it's out of that we were now listed among the counties to benefit. But then we didn't benefit for the first 2 years. It's only this financial year that money has been budgeted for. But the condition was that we had also to budget our own. So we started the program and we budgeted we started with about 50 or 60 million. And from there, we got the project started. But right now it's 30% done. And therefore, once we receive the 250 from the national government, we should be able to complete the project probably at end of this year or early next year.
Chair, let me just get the percentage properly, because the project cost is 496 million and you have expended 52 million on the project. Are you saying you've been able to do 30% with 52 million? 30 million out of 406 million? Or there's a certificate that you're still to pay?
Certificate that is not yet paid. And Chair, allow me, I have the CEC in charge of trade and investment who is here. He can give the details. But there are certificates that are not yet paid.
Make it very brief because we have sat for far too long. We might not be very useful.
Thank you, Chair. The project is on course, and I would want to say that it's true we've expended 52 million onto the project, and this is a co-funded project between the county government and the national government. And in our budget also, we've made allocations in this financial year, and as the governor has indicated, there is an unpaid certificate that will ensure once it's paid and certified, you'll find that the percentage will even go up. So in summary, what you're saying that we are on course, and now that we're in the second phase, and I can also confirm that the National Treasury has written to us requesting our account details, and we are hoping they'll be able to deposit the 250 million as their co-funding, which will enable us even move faster. So we are on
so
course.
For me, Chair, on the needs assessment, the governor has indicated that you needed this project because you have a lot of horticultural produce, vegetables and so on. Which type of vegetables would you be putting under the value addition chain to warrant expenditure of 250 million from the county?
Thank you. Through the chair, the project is a complex design project. There is a NAF-CDP project under the Department of Agriculture in conjunction with the Ministry of Agriculture at the national level that went around counties to choose their priority value chains. So there are priority value chains for Vihiga, and those value chains are being not only promoted but aggregated through cooperatives. And as the governor indicated, we have poultry, we have dairy, we have avocado, we have fresh produce or African leafy vegetables in part of Vihiga. So it is a project in continuum together with other factors. So as it is, probably even the kienyeji you eat in any restaurant in Kenya, especially Nairobi, probably comes from Vihiga. But it is not aggregated, there is no value addition, and that is what now this KIPES project is coming to do.
Yeah.
Yep, assuming that's the last one on this or the second last
assuming
one?
You are done with
Second
your
last.
industrial park and I visit Vihiga next year, what will be the value addition on the avocado that will be a component of this industrial park?
Thank you, Chair. This is a matter that we can't answer.
No, you should be able.
Now.
What is your vision? You're budgeting 250 million.
And I'll attempt to answer.
Yes, and you are telling us there will be a product, value addition product from the avocado. What will that product be?
In the assessment and under the value chains, as I've told you, there are many things you can do to add value to an avocado.
Boss,
you can process oil.
I want
you
to
can
reach
process
Kisumu straight to Sinipeleka around. Just tell me to end straight to Kisumu.
I would welcome you to come and engage with us with the NAFCDVP report and other reports. But as I've told you,
do you have an answer to my question?
And I'm saying yes. That's what I'm agreeing
Can
with
you address the senator through the chair, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'm saying yes, the value addition will be done. And
what will that product be?
And I've said, Chair, we can do avocado oil, we can do even other things from avocado.
So you're going to have in that industrial park, you'll finish it, there'll be a factory that will make avocado oil. Is that what you're telling us?
That is in the value chains, as I've told you. There is a report to it, and we are working continuously with cooperatives to develop the capacity and even interest investors to put it up. Once the facility is complete, those
okay, let me make it easier for you. Do you have the BQs for your industrial park?
Yes, the BQs are there.
What will be, once finalized, what will be the installations there that will give you that product you're saying of avocado oil?
It's probably, just to mention, what we are doing is building the basic infrastructure. We are building the environment where an investor now will come to put all those facilities you're saying. So we are doing a basic industrial park.
You're just doing a shell.
That is the BQ that we received.
You see, that's
and that's what you're working
Governor, I want to encourage you and your officers. Not everything can be defended. These senators represent counties. And sitting here, we listen to 46 other governors. You don't just have to tell us a story to justify an expenditure. There is a serious problem with the conception, design, implementation of KIPES. And it is one of those things we'll be asking the Auditor General to do a value for money audit. The only question is whether it can be done before it's concluded, because I don't know whether we should wait for 47 counties to commit 500 million, that is 23 billion. I don't know whether we should wait for counties to commit 23 billion for us to say it was a mistake. Governors have sat there, they have told us, it sounds good, but it was not our priority. It sounds good, but the land required is not reasonable for me, Nairobi or Kiambu. So I think you might have a very good concept, but if it's not implemented well, it's going to be a problem. But I think the verdict is out there, whether that 23 billion could have been used differently if governors were allowed at the earlier stages to be part of the needs identification. Senator Osotsi, maybe we have you as a last speaker on this, then we proceed.
You see, Chair, this is one of the projects that have been thrown to governors to own them, but they are not the real owners of those projects. So I want to agree with you that this Senate needs to make a very substantive decision on these KIPES. But on another note, maybe if the governor can tell us the status of land ownership, because this project has been put in a piece of land owned by Kenya Railways. So have they regularized the ownership of the land so that this project can truly belong to the county government?
You need to confirm that, Governor, otherwise it might go the same way I saw some building owned by Railways went next to Nyayo Stadium.
Just allow me the CEC to confirm, because he has been dealing with that issue.
Okay. Be very direct on the land ownership question.
Thank you, Chair. We have secured a 40-year lease with the Kenya Railways, and we have made good of the payment. We are to finish the payment of the lease by the end of this year, that is by December. There are milestones within the contract that we entered with them for the lease. So we have secured it for 40 years.
So I think those are dimensions that the OAG should look at when we are doing a value for money audit on this in terms of even land ownership, because we are not strangers in this country. We know there are people who claim to have leases with Kenya Railways, but you still find police coming in at night to bring down their property. We saw that in Kisumu when we are clearing the lakefront. We saw that here in Nairobi. And so it is a risk that is alive. But I think members just wanted to get a feel. You maintained it is a good idea. You maintain that you can do certain things. What you are not clear about is whether from the onset, the design, the BQs, by the time you spend 496 million, all those things will be possible, or you will need more investments to do the avocado processing and all those other things you have said. Now, members, I want us to agree on the things where we'll take written responses and the things that we must prosecute here. In the morning, when the OAG was updating us on inconsistency of carriageway on opening and maintenance of roads, the OAG reported that you were awarding contracts to build 4.5 meters of roads. And yet, what was being delivered was 3 meters to 3.5 meters. Now, we asked the OAG to give us the specific details of those projects. Because if that was the case, this would be a clear case of theft. OAG, do you have those details of the roads where there is inconsistency on the width ordered versus width delivered?
Chair, you'll give me some time, maybe 2 to 3 days to get back and see whether there was a schedule of those roads that were done like this.
Well, but for you to cite it, it means that you came across it, unless it was theory.
Yes.
So you don't have the details, the specific details.
As per now.
Yeah, because we need to know which contract was it, who was the contractor, who was the accounting officer, who was responsible. Because if this is confirmed, this is just a matter of investigation and prosecution. I don't think this is a matter that needs to be discussed. It is obviously an illegality if we can find the details to support it. So as you're doing that, are you also going to, on hire of road maintenance equipment, you had said that you got the work plan. They gave you the work plan.
Chair, they gave us the approved work plan with specification of activities. And
so what is it that we had asked you to do? We had asked you to refer to the KRB or RMLF audits to check whether these roads under that paragraph, there could have been some double accounting.
Yes.
So you are clear on what you need to do.
Yes.
So please do that deeper analysis, and then it will allow us to write our report and seek a resolution of the House. Irregularities of registration of PWDs and approvals of tax exemptions, you confirmed that this has now been resolved?
Yes.
Financial statements for level 4 sub-county hospitals, this will go to the County Public Investments Committee, and Senator Sotsi will competently deal with this. Weaknesses in revenue collection management system. Here there is a problem because even on prior year issues, there were some concerns that were raised on revenue collection systems. I think there was supposed to be a cost-benefit analysis of the revenue automation system, pending works by vendor on revenue automation system, unutilized POS machines. My concern, OAG, is that those 3 issues under your Appendix 1, issue number 18, 19, and 20, they didn't find their way into the ROR. They are not in the receipt of revenue statement, and yet they are still outstanding.
So issue number 18?
Your Appendix 1 on unresolved prior year matters.
Yes.
Cost-benefit analysis on revenue automation system, pending works by vendor on revenue automation system, unutilized point of sales machines, they are not in the ROR statement.
Yes.
Why? Does it mean they were closed?
Not yet. As we have indicated, they are in the follow-up mechanism on the status of implementation of recommendations of the oversight committees.
Because they tie to weaknesses in revenue collection management system.
Yes, in the main,
yeah.
In the executive.
So, honorable members, do we, due to the pressures of time and we might not be able to do justice to this question, we take the written responses on this, unless there is a specific query that a member wants to raise? Because this was supposed to give us an inroad into the receiver of revenue statement. There is one challenge this year with the transition to accrual, that we are not able to see the comparative figures prior year and this year. And I think the Standards Board has explained to us that we'll start seeing the comparatives from the second year. So I think
we can take written responses, and with your indulgence, if we don't get absolute response during before report writing, after analysis, then the governor and his team can still come back in, because under process of consideration of the audit report, which Parliament does, especially Senate, is we give them a chance to present their part of the story, so that when we do a report, we consider. So we can take written responses, but they should be willing and available and ready to appear, so that the report that we will table in the House would have met the principles of natural justice of hearing both sides. I yield back, Chair.
Fine. Since the written responses, the governor, you table them after having taken the oath, we shall take them to be factual, and so we'll try to make our recommendations to the House on that basis. But where there is need to call you again, we will not hesitate to do so. There'll also be the implementation follow-up. The one thing you must advise the county OAG is how to deal with these 32 issues in the Appendix 1. What do you expect them to do? Because my expectation is that they needed to have responded to all of them, all the 32.
Yes, they have responded to them, but the verification of that status report is not yet done.
Where is it in the report that was tabled by the governor? Is it here? If you were to do a written, if you were to consider the written responses.
No, Chair, for those ones, because they are prior year matters, we did, we put the issues together and wrote to the county separately.
And
this is the response that the director is saying has already been received, and this is what is being worked on.
Or it's the one that was received on the 21st? Or which date did you say they were received?
They were received on 21st.
On 21st.
But,
so you are still analyzing them?
Yes, and updating the follow-up tracking system on them, so that by the time by the end of the month, they think there's a report the Auditor General will issue on this
follow-up.
On follow-up.
Okay. Will that be in time for us to take a resolution to the House?
Yes, Chair. We'll be able to report by the time we belong to the House.
Because you have agreed that we, instead of sending one big report with 47 entities, we will be taking to the House 10. We do 10 counties, we report. So you can tie that, the clerk and the OAG can tie that so that we are able to report to the House. I'll therefore bring this session to a close unless there is any other matter that could be outstanding. But due to time, I would propose that the governor makes his closing remarks, and then we'll donate our time to Senator Osotsi to make his closing remarks. Governor, in closing.
Thank you, Chair. Let me take this opportunity on my own behalf, on behalf of the Vihiga government, to thank your committee for this session. It's been a long session. We were here from 9 a.m. and we are still here, the patience we have had, but I believe we have learned quite a lot, and the insight of this audit, I think, is very good for the county. There are certain issues we have raised which we take for granted, but there are issues that